Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to create high revenue email flows for e-commerce brands in 2026. So most e-commerce brands actually have a Klaviyo account, but they are still sitting at less than 10% email revenue and basically have no idea why. So I'm going to show you in this video the exact problem and basically how you fix it. My name is Paco and I'm the co-founder of Markeity. We run an email marketing agency based here in Denmark where we work with brands all across Europe, Scandinavia and US. So over the past years, I have built 1,000 different email flows for plus 200 different brands. It's basically, you name the flows, we build it, we test it and we optimize it. So I'm going to break down the exact 5-step framework we use for all of our clients here in Markeity. You can basically just steal it for free, try to use it on your own brand and just see the revenue goes up. So let me just jump right into it. So the first main point out of 5 is that you need to have your flows prioritization in order. Otherwise, you will just waste your time. This is a mistake I see all the time because when a brand starts using Klaviyo, they see you can build a lot of different flows inside Klaviyo and then they try to build everything at once. Or maybe they skip the basics and just jump right into the most advanced flow and try to custom build everything from the beginning, like the loyalty flow and stuff like that, without even having a proper abandoned cart flow. So the most important flow is the welcome series. When a customer signs up, obviously they need an email. You have their attention, but it doesn't last too long. You have to build this flow out to at least 5 to 10 emails and don't just send one email. So when a customer signs up over the next few days, you gotta send some different emails where you're introducing your brand, maybe the discount you're sending out, try to build trust and basically just make it easy for the customer to buy from your store. And if they don't buy from the first email, they just need a bit more reason to buy actually. So basically just focusing on building trust, social proof, but don't overwhelming with it. Then we have the abandoned cart and the abandoned checkout. This is also a really important flow because the customer was so close to buy, but for some reason they left their cart and you can easily recover a lot of lost revenue, often about 20% actually. On average, at least on our clients, we see that brands are making around $3.5 per person and the top brands we're working with are making around $30 per person. So that's a big difference. But the setup is quite simple. First, you gotta send a reminder, then you gotta have focus on the social proof and then the reviews and then some product value based emails and then the final chance if you are running any discounts and so on. But remember that timing matters. So are you sending this email 45 minutes after, 2 hours after, 1 hour after? You gotta split test on what works best for you. And you can pretty easily also see the results and it's pretty easy also to set up, but let me explain that later on. Then we have the browser abandonment flow. So browser abandonment triggers when a customer have viewed a product but didn't add something to the cart. So the intent was quite low, but it was still there, but not as high that when a customer abandoned their cart. So we have one client doing around 11K in the last 30 days. Along with this flow with a single email, I know it works because we use this for all of our clients and you catch people while they were still interested, but don't start here. You gotta work with your abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, and then your welcome series first. And then you can jump into the browser abandonment. Then we have the post-purchase flow and then the customer win back. So when someone buys, it's actually just the start. Now you gotta focusing on building the trust. So the post-purchase flow should be making the customer feel good about the order. You probably gotta have focus on collecting some reviews so you can, get some social proof and get them to buy again actually. The win back flow really depends on your data in your Klaviyo account, but it's about bringing people back, then they stop buying actually. But the welcome series, the browser abandonment, the checkout flow are more important than this flow, so start with the beginning. Then we have the main point 2 is about sequencing logic. So the email inside each flow actually matters more than the flow itself. And let me just try to explain it because it's something most videos actually are not talking about. Because the name of the flow does make money, but what inside the flow actually does. I'm talking about the structure, each email, how it connects to the next email, basically the whole structure behind every single flow you're sending out. Every single email you're sending out needs a clear reason why you're sending it out in the first place so it doesn't feel random emails. So the framework here we are using across every single flow that we are building has 4 steps. The first email should confirm the action. So email 1 is not about pushing hardcore sales or hardcore discounts, but it's about context whenever if it's the abandoned cart flow, the abandoned checkout flow, the browser abandonment flow. You just show the customer where they are in the customer journey. Email 2 is also really important because in the second email, the customer already know who you are, or you just need to remind them why they were interested in the first place. And you also need to answer all their questions. Maybe they have questions like, is this product worth the price, or does this product work for me, etc., etc. So try to answer all those questions with social proof and then the reviews. This is the most important email basically in all your flows. So you gotta really split test on have focus on social proof and the review also. Then we have the email 3, where you're trying to escalate the urgency. Start with a soft reminder or a value-based urgency. And if you're having any discount codes or running in discount codes, try to put an urgency on it, but please don't fake it, because people know if it's a fake urgency, and fake urgency will destroy and kill your trust long term and also your conversion rate, obviously. Then we have email 4. Here is where you're really gonna focusing on the CTA that's actually converting all the customers, because you gotta increase the bottom size, you gotta choose the right words, basically make the whole email focus on your tone of voice. You gotta make it big, and you really gotta focus on converting people. And basically, that's just it. If you run an e-commerce brand doing over 50K a month and email isn't bringing in at least 40%, you're really leaving money on the table actually. So at Markeity, we build and manage your whole email marketing setup. We have done this for plus 200 brands. For example, Plaza Watches and Jewelry also passed 100K in the last 3 weeks just using our strategy. So if you want help, just book a meeting below. Main point 3 is about the subject line and preview text framework, because you can literally send the same email over again and be making more revenue from the same email. So most people think that preview text and subject line are all about open rates, but they're really more than that actually, because the preview text and the subject line change how people see your emails in the first place. You can send the same email with a different subject line and preview text and be making 2 to 3 times more revenue from the same email. But let me just break it down for you. The first step is the 2 to 5 words, the title case. That's the formula. You have to keep it short, especially in the US market. Because, for example, if you have an abandoned cart email, you can say, did you forget something, or is your Wi-Fi okay? It works because it makes people want more from your email, but without you giving away everything. Step 2 is about subject line, build interest, because your subject line and your preview text need to work together. The preview text should support the subject line and not give the answer right away. For example, if you have the subject line, you can say they are back, and your preview text can say that they are now for sale. It works together and it wants people to open the email actually. And step 3 is about test on revenue, but not on open rates. This is something I see all the time. People are split testing on subject line and preview text and base the results only on open rates. You can have an email with a low open rate, but a lot of revenue generated. And obviously it performs better if you have a higher open rate and a lower sales from your email. So always look at your placed order rate and look at the revenue. But yeah, that's the only thing that matters in the end. Then main point 4 is about common structure mistakes. This is why most email flows actually are not generating money, but losing money. Over the past years, I have audited a lot of different Klaviyo accounts, and I see the same mistake over again. I'm not talking about the technical problem or the technical stuff, but the whole strategy in general. That's also why some brands are stuck at 12% email revenue when they should be at 30 or more actually. The first thing I see all the time is the missing flow filter. Flow filters stop people who already have bought getting the abandoned cart email. Without them, someone can literally buy from your shop and the moment after get that your cart is waiting email. And obviously that kills the trust and the logic behind all flows. So you need to have all your flow filters correct from the start. Otherwise, you will just spam people. Then step 2 is about sending to the entire list without segmentation. This is also something I see all the time when people send email campaigns out, they just blast to the whole list. So for example, if you have looked at a product you already have bought, you shouldn't get a reminder about that product. Also, when you're sending out to all engaged people, that also be hurting your deliverability score. So if you keep blasting to your whole email list, you will start landing not in the primary inbox, but in the spam folder. And the last thing is clients or e-commerce brands are actually not A/B split testing ever. So especially with the flows, I see this all the time. You can set up your abandoned cart, your abandoned checkout, your browser abandonment flow, and you just let it run for years, maybe for weeks, something like that, and not split testing on everything. You have to split test on time delay, subject line, the designs, the copywriting, the timing, the offer, and so on, so you can get the best possible results for you. And you gotta track everything and give it at least 30 days before you decide what works best for you. So if you're watching this video and maybe think about, where do we even get started? I got you. Because I have put together a free guide that shows you the 4 areas I always look at when I audit a Klaviyo account regarding flows, campaign, segmentation, and deliverability. You can find it in the link below. Go check it out. Main point 5 is about having the whole email ecosystem in place, because both flows and campaigns are actually working together. Flows are not the full story, flows are the foundation, but they're not enough. Brands who try to hit plus 40% from email revenue always have this email ecosystem in place. A strong Klaviyo setup actually sees a 50-50 split between flows and campaign. Obviously, it depends on what you're selling, but you need to come so close to a 50-50 split as soon as possible, because campaigns are filling the gaps between flows. Campaigns will keep your list warm and would also drive revenue around launches, promotion, keynotes, and offers and stuff like that. As a rule of thumb, you need to send at least 4 campaigns per week. So what kind of campaigns are actually driving the revenue? So it's not about hardcore selling every single time that you are sending out a campaign. It's a mix of obviously hardcore selling, but also value-based email like tips and tricks, stories, inspiration, and stuff like that. So a simple rule you always can work from is that 80% of your content and your emails need to be value-based content. And 20% should always ask for the sale, like launches, discounts, and offer, and so on. But you need to have a good and high converting pop-up form, because if you don't have a pop-up form, obviously you don't have any leads on your email list. And if your pop-up form is only converting 1 to 3%, you're wasting all the traffic you actually be paying for. So you gotta aim for around 10% at least. That's what we see on our clients. So the more sign-up you have, that means the more people you have in your flows, the abandoned cart, the abandoned checkout, the abandoned, or the browser abandonment. So you gotta start improving your pop-up form so you can have more people to send emails to. All right, so let's just wrap it up. I just learned you the 5-step framework we use for all of our clients that could go from 10% email revenue and all the way up to 40%. But all this, of course, only work if you have people into these flows and into these campaigns. So if you have no email list system, obviously you are leaving money on the table. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to build an email list that actually converts all your subscribers into paying customers. So it's in the link below. Go check it out. Peace.